What is the most common way for a foreign worker to work in the United States and get sponsored for a green card? The answer is the EB-3 green card category. What it is and how can you get it? Hello everybody and welcome back to Immigration Channel. This is where we explain complex immigration matters in short, simple videos. We make immigration easy. And in this video, we'll talk about the EB-3 visa, what it is, how can you get a green card as an employee using the most common green card category, the cost of this category, the processing time, how long it's going to take to get the EB-3 green card, who is eligible, and how to apply. Everything you need to know. Before we do that, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. As always, if you need help with your immigration matter, if you need to apply for the EB-3 or any other green card category based on employment, you can send me a text, 619-483-4549. Let's set up a call with you and your employer and get you started. So let's jump into what is the EB-3 visa and how can you get it. The EB-3 category is a green card category that allows foreign workers to live and work in the United States as long as they have an employer willing to sponsor them. You'll need either a bachelor degree or experience in the field of employment. So you could be potentially in marketing, you could be also doing some labor work in construction. EB-3 is a very broad category which it will allow many applicants to apply for a green card as long as they have a valid job offer. The process is divided into essentially 3 steps. The first step, you have to apply for a labor certification before the U.S. Department of Labor. Once we get that out of the way with that approval, then we move to the U.S. immigration side where we apply for Form I-140 immigrant petition to show that this employer can afford to pay the salary for this immigrant. And if you're in legal status in the United States and your visa category is current, you'll be able to apply for adjustment of status at the same time on Form I-485, which means you'll be able to adjust your status, get a work permit and a travel document while you're going through the process of applying for this green card. But what are the actual costs of applying for the EB-3 visa? Very common question, and I'll tell you about it in a moment. The first step, when you apply for the Perm Labor Certification, there is no filing fee essentially to apply for the Perm Labor Certification. The only cost in this process, of course, are lawyer fees and the cost of advertising the job in the newspapers or online, which is required as part of the labor certification because we have to prove that there are no U.S. citizens that are being impacted by this job hiring. So the first cost that we can see here, in addition to the advertising costs, when we move to the immigration step, Form I-140 is the filing fee and currently is $700. You have to file Form I-45 if the visa is current. If you have a current visa, you're eligible to adjust. That fee is $1,140 at the moment. In addition to that, you'll have to pay $85 of the biometrics fee when you're filing for the adjustment of status. Now, if you are overseas and applying for this green card abroad after the approval of the Perm Labor Certification, you still have to pay the I-140 $700, but you're going to have to pay consular fees for the Form DS-260, which currently it's $345. And the Form I-864 affidavit of support, which is $120. In addition, there's also $85 for a biometric fee. So, biggest question we're getting, what are the processing times for the EB-3 green card from start to finish? Well, as I mentioned before, step number 1 is the Perm Labor Certification. Once we're done with the Perm Labor Certification, from start to finish, first step, we have to get the prevailing wage. That takes about 4 to 5 months. Then we have to go to recruitment process, a few more months, and then actually filing the perm application. Typically, perms are pending from 6 to 10 months, unless you get an audit, which can add another 6 months to the process. So let's say about a year from the moment you start your perm process. Once that is approved, we're now able to file Form I-140. Those typically are pending anywhere from 4 to 8 months, but you can pay a premium processing fee of $2,500 and get that I-140 approved in 2 weeks. Then you have Form I-485. That can be pending anywhere from 12 to 24 months or more, depending on the case or where the application was filed. But in the meantime, you'll have your work permit and travel document to be able to live and work in the United States. If you're processing your case from overseas, once the I-140 is approved, it will be sent to the National Visa Center, and then it will depend on the consulate or embassy where you're going to be processing your case to determine when you'll have your interview. I would say about another year as well after approval of the I-140. The EB-3 category has three sections. EB-3A is for skilled workers, those that don't necessarily have education, but they're skilled with experience. Then you have EB-3B, which is designed for professionals. If you have a bachelor degree and years of experience, like accountants, lawyers, architects, etc. And finally, you have EB-3C for unskilled workers, those that have no education and very limited experience. They can also apply for this category. So let's recap. How do we apply for this EB-3 category? First, we have to get a labor certification from the Department of Labor, also known as PERM. That will be a process where we're trying to test the job market to make sure that no U.S. workers are being impacted by this hiring. Once we get that PERM approved, we can move to the immigrant visa petition, which is Form I-140. Once that's approved, assuming that your visa bulletin is current for your priority date, you are able to file your adjustment of status inside the United States on Form I-485, or if you're overseas, you can process your application through National Visa Center and your U.S. Embassy. Remember, it is important to check the visa bulletin at the time of approval of the I-140 to determine if there are any visas available for you. EB-3, EB-2, and EB-1 are subject to a numerical cap, and as soon as they run out of visas, you have to wait for visas availability to come back. And therefore, some people have to wait sometimes months and even years for their priority date to become current. Remember and study the visa bulletin. We have a lot of videos about the visa bulletin on our channel. Make sure you watch them as well. So that's the process in a nutshell. EB-3 is one of the most powerful visas to be able to work in the United States. That is something that leads to permanent residency. EB-3 is a sponsorship that leads to a green card. It's not a work visa. It actually is a green card. It's a permanent residency. It's good for skilled, unskilled, and professionals, all levels. The most common category to get a green card in the United States. If you have questions about this process, about this video, please let me know in the comments. If you're ready to apply for the EB-3 green card and you have an employer, please send me a text 619-483-4549. I'm here for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at our next video.